I'd like to call the Graham County Board of Education regular meeting to order. Mr. Moody, would you lead us in prayer before we start, sir?
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time today. Thank you for all that you've done for us, Lord, your marvelous grace that your Son came and died and rose again for our sins. Pray for those that know about your saving grace, Lord, and how free it is. For those that believe, Lord, I pray that you be with our board today, our schools. We're going through challenging times, Lord, whether it's personal, school-wise, or whatever, Lord, but we just ask for your guidance and wisdom, Lord, and peace and understanding how to deal with it. Not to lose focus, Lord, that still our number one concern is helping each and every student that's here. Be at the board today, bless them. Be with those affected by the storm, Lord. We know there's a lot of loss there. Be with them. And be with our country, Lord, because, Lord, we know they need you. We all need you. Thank you for all you've done for us, Lord. You're the best. I'm praying. Amen.
Would you have the noble knights come in? They're going to lead us in our pledge. Somebody will have to explain to me what the noble knights are. Y'all come on up here.
Two rows and kind of squeeze in and squeeze in.
Don't be bashful. Just come on in. Oh.
Probably not you to stay standing.
Yeah, stay standing.
But I think you're going to introduce yourself.
That's a good man right there, that Tennessee sweatshirt. Yeah.
I'm just silence.
We don't have enough seats for all of them, son.
Miss Sunday, will you come up and kind of just get him started, and afterwards you can tell us what the program is and maybe introduce themselves. All right, so you want to be first. All right, that's right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So these are our noble knights. You guys can sit if you want to. And this is the group that I've come and talked about a little bit. I'm really proud of them. I can almost get teared up talking about them. But all of these guys were nominated by their peers as somebody that was trustworthy, that they could talk to, that they felt comfortable with. So these are a pretty amazing group of kids. We have baseball players, we have football players, we have band kids, we have everybody. So got a good group. And I think what we'll do is just let them stand up and tell you their name, and then we'll get out of there this way.
Okay. I'd like for you to tell us a little bit more about it, rather than just your name. Mm-hmm. Tell us what you're interested in, you know, if you play a sport or play in the band or in some clubs or whatever, and what grade you're in, and if you want to go on to college or you want to go in the military. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Dave Knott. I'm a freshman. I like basketball, and yes, I would love to go to college.
Okay.
My name is Bam Nels. I'm in 7th grade, and I would definitely like to go to college. And one of my hobbies is basketball.
My name is Samuel Woodcharger. I'm in 7th grade, and I play basketball. And yes, I want to go to college.
What are you going to do in college, you think? What are you going to do with your life? If you know, if you don't, say play basketball. Play basketball.
Is Adam your dad?
Yeah.
I'm Ivy Silvers, and I'm a freshman, and I want to go to college for cosmetology. Hey, I'm Riley Crane, and I really like watching volleyball, but I also really want to go to college and do photography.
Did you say photography?
Yes.
Hey, I'm Zarel Woodcharger. I'm in 7th grade. Yeah, I like basketball and I want to go to college.
Go back over here.
I'm Skylar Oliver. I'm in 10th grade, and I'm on a cross-country team. I'm Kimberly Oliver. I'm in 10th grade, and I'm one of the volunteer wrestling managers.
And both of you have very soft, quiet voices. It's hard on this old guy to hear. Go ahead, the next one.
My name is Ella Mills, and I'm in 6th grade, and I like softball, and I want to go to college and be a veterinarian.
Be a what?
Veterinarian.
Yeah.
Very good.
My name is Cole Cobbin. I'm in 8th grade. I like cross country, and I want to go to college to be a marine biologist.
You're built like a cross country.
I'm John Dominguez. I like football. I'm a freshman as well, and I don't know if I do want to go to college or not.
Did you play JV football?
Yeah.
Good.
Hi, I'm Alexia Jenkins, and yes, I would love to go to college, and I do cross country wrestling.
Did you hear her?
Yeah, but I know her, it's Alexa.
I'm Cadence Howe, and I play basketball, and I want to attend college to be a psychologist.
I'm Kate Harrison, and I'm a senior, and I'm very involved in my church, and I would like to go to college to become a clinical mental health counselor.
Hi, I'm Colson Dooley. I'm a wrestler, and I don't know if I want to go to college or not.
Are you kin to Tom?
Absolutely.
There you go. You knew what I was talking about.
I'm Donovan Carpenter, play basketball, football, track, 11th grade, and I plan to go to college.
Talk to your dad.
Do what?
Matthew.
Yes, sir.
Talk to your dad.
I'm David Logan. It's nice to meet y'all. I'm a senior, and I plan on going to Western to become an RN.
Oh, very good.
I'm Cooper Adams. I play football, run track, and I don't know if I want to go to college yet, but I've still got a while.
My name's Austin Bond. I'm in 8th grade, and I do cross country, and I plan on going to college.
Very good.
I'm Emily Boyle. I'm in the 10th grade. I'm technically part of a band, but I do the color guard portion. If you don't know what that is, it's the flags and rifles or whatever. And I really, really want to go to SCAD, which is Savannah College of Art and Design, to do something artistic, because that's what I do like 24/7.
My name is Alyssa Barn. I'm in 7th grade. I do plan on going to college to be a marine biologist, and I play softball. I do competitive cheer, and I'm starting wrestling this year.
My name is Elizabeth Boyle. I go by Lizzie. I write, and I also am an athlete, apparently, for the first time. I do cross country. I play alto saxophone in band, and I'm planning on going to college in the fall, next fall, to be a film director.
You play what in the band?
Alto saxophone.
Ultra? Oh, alto sax. Okay. I told you that's hard to hear. Is that all of them? Next.
My name is Carter Bradshaw. I like to play the guitar, and I'd like to go to college to get a minor in maybe art and get a major in music, and I'd like to be a music teacher one day. So.
My name is Braxton Hicks. I'd like to first start off before I tell more about me. How are you doing today?
We're doing great.
That's good. I am an athlete in track. I do cross country, and I also do track, and I also do band. And I'm a percussionist in band, but I'm pushing to become head captain in percussion. And I would like to go to college and then become a K-9 police officer.
Is Davey your dad?
Yes, Davey Hicks is my dad.
Yeah.
I'm Robert Batch. I want to go to college one day, and I do wrestling, and I want to be a cop like it.
Very good.
There's actually a few missing, but yes, this is all.
I'd like to say one thing to this group. When I was teaching, I taught 39 years, and I had kids just like you. I taught your dad, and I taught a lot of your parents, if I just knew who they were. All right, but one thing I told my kids is, you know, you can make A's and B's, and that's great, but the thing that's going to follow you the rest of your life is your character. And evidently, if you all are trusted by your peers, that is outstanding. And I want you to be very proud of that. Your character will follow you the rest of your life. Now, I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Sonny, for bringing them in.
Thank you.
Because I didn't know what Noble Knights meant.
Here they are. All right, guys, ready?
Y'all go back to class now and learn something.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, I forgot where we are. Yeah, there we go. All right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda for today with one change? Underneath E, F, discussion of board meeting dates, and Ms. Knight will go over that. Do I have a motion to now approve?
Wait, just board meeting dates.
Yeah.
That was one thing I was going to bring up, pending the survey. Can we?
No, this is not time. This is dates.
This is dates. This has to do with our school improvement status and more than.
Okay, well, under next board meeting, can we make that pending until we discuss the survey?
When we get there, we will, because you're going to discuss the survey before we ever get there.
Okay, but we have to approve this, so.
Yes, we can make that pending, because it's
If
going to.
we don't make it pending, then that maybe makes it, we have to have it November the 1st. Pending surveys, can we make that as a change?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion to change the agenda or add to the agenda F, discussion of board meeting dates with Ms. Knight presenting this pending the E board meeting time survey results. Do I have a motion to change that? Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Now, do I have a motion to approve the agenda for today? So moved. Do I have a second? All in favor? Any opposed? Now, do I have a motion to approve the September 6th, 2022 minutes? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? The floor is now open for public comment period. Do I have a motion to close public comment period? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, reports and discussion items. Mr. Matheson.
Good morning. So at the high school, our progress reports went out for the second time on Friday, and we have mailed home all failing progress reports. And just the number of students we have that are failing the class is probably down significantly this year, but the majority of the students that are failing one class are failing multiple classes, from what we've seen. So we need to get a little something more out of those kids, and hopefully we can work on that. September the 26th, we held our first parent night meeting for senior parents, and they created their FAFSA IDs. We had 53 parents show up, which is a fantastic number for the first meeting. And this week on October the 6th at 6 o'clock, we'll have our first FAFSA night. And the form, it's open and they can complete the FAFSA. Students, we have 2 field trips coming up this month for our juniors and seniors, and maybe some sophomores also. We've got one college trip going to UNC Charlotte on October the 15th. And it's a 1-day trip down and back, and then we have another one to Western Carolina on October the 29th. It's also up to Western and back that day. So giving our kids some chances to go out and tour some colleges and kind of see where they might want to go when they graduate. On September the 27th, we held our first Grand County CTE Business Advisory Council meeting at the high school. We had excellent attendance for that. Many business leaders from our community were there, and all of our teachers did a little just talked about their programs and what they were doing, and thought it went real good kind of to organize the committee and elect our officers, and our next meeting will be in February. In sports at the high school, our volleyball team's having a fantastic season. They're currently undefeated in the conference and in first place. They'll be playing at Murphy tonight, which is a big game for them, and then at home on Thursday against Andrews. Our cross-country team is showing improvement every week. We've got kids PRing almost every week, and we have our home cross-country meet this Wednesday. So it'll be senior night for those seniors on the cross-country team. The band has been attending some competitions. It's the first time that that's happened in several years, and they've been receiving some awards, and they're doing great. Miss Watkins just continues to impress, just to be honest with you. The band is just getting better all the time. Our JV football team just won the conference. They were co-champs, finished their season last week, and those kids moved up. I think we had 12 freshmen move to the varsity yesterday, and the varsity football team's 4-1, beat Swain County last week, so that was great. And 5-1. Okay, 5-1. And we play Cherokee this week at home, and it is Hall of Fame night. So the inductees to the Hall of Fame are Tim Soulsby, who was quarterback back in the 70s on some undefeated, I think on an undefeated state championship team. Scott Anderson played in the early 80s. And then Norma Jean Holder, who is from Sticko, a great basketball player. And then we're also inducting the 1980 and 1981 state championship football teams on Friday night. So we're excited to have all those people as guests with us at the football game.
Mr. Madison,
Yeah.
who they put champions with?
Swain, I think is who it was. Yes. And it may have been a three-way tie. It may have been Swain and Murphy. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, this past month, we hosted our first annual Breakfast of Champions, where we just put out to the community, if you're a champion for Robbinsville Elementary School or any child in the elementary school, please come and just talk to us. We kind of had an open forum and did a question and answer session. Had some good questions. We had about 25 people show up. So for the first one, I feel like that was a good turnout, and we got some really good feedback. I asked parents to fill out a feedback form. Some of the questions I asked was, what events would you like to see us host that you would be interested in participating in? So just feel like we got some good information from that. That is something that we'll definitely want to continue on next year. Our teachers, this past September, whatever the work day was, one of the work days, they completed their Unit 4 letters training. So they're working on now the work part that goes along with that training. We had parent conferences in September, and we opened it up to parents and said, any way that you can meet with us, we will meet with you. Whether it's on the phone, virtual, face-to-face, we're open to what best suits you. We will meet with you in any way that you can meet with us to talk about your child. And we actually met with 91.7% of all kids at the elementary school. So we feel very good about the parent contact associated with our parent conferences. On September 26th, we had a school improvement team meeting with our regional consultants, Jeremy Gibbs and Julie Weatherman, to just talk about Robbinsville Elementary with where we are with our performance grades and how we're planning on moving forward to get some, we got some good feedback from them, and we were able to sit down with them and talk about the plan that we have in place to move forward from being D and low performing. And we feel like that was very beneficial to us. One of the suggestions that they gave was for us to how to kind of clean up our school improvement plan within IndaStar. We're putting too much stuff in there, which we kind of always felt that way, but it's nice to have a little bit of a stamp of approval on how to get that kind of a little bit more concise. We had a good meeting after school with a lot of our staff. We had 2 parents attend, and we now have 3 parents who are interested in being on our school improvement team, and we're excited about that because a lot of times we have to call and beg, so we're real excited about having some good parent participation. And last Friday, if you've not been to our library, we have a reading castle. and it was dedicated in honor of Miss Maxine Orr, who passed recently, but spent 30 years in Graham County schools and loved reading and working with kids. And we did a dedication. Her family was there. It was a very nice event. We were honored to do it for such a wonderful lady who gave so much to Graham County schools. So in your time, if you have time, come down. We'll show you the castle, and it was just a really nice event to host with the family.
Thank you, Ms. Walsh.
Good morning. So we had parent-teacher conferences also, and we wanted to see as many of our parents as we could, because I think as we're realizing that we are a low-performing school, we feel like that since we've been out through COVID, it's really important to get parents back involved and have parents in our school and build a better relationship between student and teachers and parents. So we gave a $100 gift card. We let all the parents that showed up, we had a drawing, and so the teachers, I don't have a percentage, but the teachers said they saw more parents than they've ever seen. So we had lots of parents in the building. We also that night scheduled our first parent meeting with our 8th grade parents to talk about the 8th grade trip. So it was a very successful parent-teacher conference. We have only had about 20 kids sign up for the 8th grade trip. They were supposed to turn in their interest form signed by last Friday. And so we are trying to get some more kids to sign up. If we don't get some more, I don't know that the trip will make, because with just 20 kids, that barely pays for a bus. So we're still trying to get more kids. We have been spending a lot of time analyzing our data, including the EOG and EVOS, and I'm ready to prepare our school improvement plan. Our school improvement plan has met a couple of times to set goals and look at objectives. We also met with Jeremy Gibbs. He met with Mr. Nellums and I with Ms. Knott, and the team of people gave us also some good feedback about cleaning up our school improvement plan and narrowing down our focus. And he is also going to come and work with us a few more times throughout the year, so we welcome that. He met with our staff, gave them went over the data, but also was very encouraging and supportive, and I think our teachers appreciated that, and they feel good about where we're headed. Our English Language Arts department has been digging into their student data, and they've developed a plan to meet student needs. I have asked my sister-in-law, Vicki Walsh, who's a reading specialist, to come and help us, and she has been working with teachers on developing lesson plans and looking at a week at a time. She's also working with teachers on some strategies. We have a lot of our students who are about 2 years behind in reading, and most middle school teachers are not taught or trained to teach beginning reading skills. So she's been helping them with some strategies that they can do in the classroom, and so that has been real helpful for them. Crystal White is also working with our math department, helping them do the same kind of things, laying out their lesson plans and making sure that we are implementing the adopted curriculum for mathematics. Mr. Nellums and I have been doing walkthroughs. We have developed a form of non-negotiables, things that we expect to see that's kind of leading us towards our school improvement plan. And we have that on a Google document, and so we are filling out the Google document when we do the walkthroughs, and then the teachers get feedback, and then we're going back and discussing it with them and what we saw, what we didn't see, how to improve, and how we can support them. We had our first reward day yesterday for students. We're trying to reward kids based on our house system once a month. Students were recognized for perfect attendance up until this point. The highest averages in each class, highest points earned in our house system for effort, good character, academic excellence, outstanding performance, and school spirit. The house with the most points and the top 5 students in the other houses were rewarded, and it was a good day. We were able to do it all just at the end of our lunch, so it didn't cut into instructional time, and the kids had a great time. We got some really good feedback. So 8 of our teachers went to training maps October 16th on that teacher work day, and that was the first of 3 sessions that is sponsored by Gear Up. It's a great program. Teachers have been using the thinking maps in their classrooms with great success. They feel like the students are having greater understanding of the material and retaining information based on that visual thinking map. The training is based on brain development and educational research. And so we are hoping to get our whole staff trained because I think it'll be very beneficial. I've talked to Ms. Knott too. I think it would be something beneficial for K-12. The end of the first 9 weeks is October 13th. We plan on sending our report cards home on October 19th. And we're planning our first check-ins for the first week in November. Our fall sports are coming to an end. Volleyball will finish their season next Thursday. Cross country has a meet here tomorrow, tomorrow. And next week is the conference meet at Swain. And then our winter sports will start October 17th. Project Discovery will will take some kids on October 11th to Whisper Mountain for the day. And on October 13th, we have a STEM day where Gear Up will be coming in and doing STEM activities with all of our students. And then on the 21st, we have people from Gear Up coming and working with our science teachers on some professional development and doing lab experiments and hands-on activities in the classroom. So that's middle school.
Thank you, Ms. Wallace.
You're welcome.
Ms. Moody, do you have anything for us? I was asked, and I'm not sure about this, are kids still getting free and reduced lunch?
We get free and reduced lunch, but not everybody's eating for free. Like they have the last 2 years.
So we're back to that old system where, like, if you qualify for free and reduced lunch, you get that. And students that qualify for reduced, they also get free. Okay. But those people that don't qualify for free or reduced are having to pay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Miss, if they're doing that in schools, are they probably paying it out of local money?
What do you mean?
If they're giving free meals to all their kids.
No, they have community eligibility status. And
they have what?
Community eligibility status, which you have to qualify for, which we don't.
We have it in the past, but we can now count our Medicaid students. So, we might be a little bit closer next year.
Because I saw where some schools, all the kids got to eat free in an elementary school.
It's
So I was just wondering how that worked.
We check that status every year, and we haven't made it until we might be a little closer this year.
Well, that's good.
Ms. Waller.
Yes, everything's going good with technology. It's rolling right along. We have all the new access points in the classrooms. So we have all the old ones waiting to go into areas that we couldn't put them in before. We have 400 new Chromebooks coming that was paid through the E-Rate ECS system. So hopefully they'll be here shortly. I think we're right now ready to start working on the middle school switch closet. If they can get the fiber pulled, and we'll get that up and going. And then we will do all that. Other than that, everything's going really good.
Good.
So, knock on wood.
Thank you, Ms. Waller. Mr. Lou, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, 2 updates. I told y'all previous meeting about how there's no safe schools budget from the state or federal government. So even though they can find money to hire 87,000 IRS agents, they won't pay for one school resource officer. But I have applied for 2 grants. One is to the state of North Carolina, and I applied for another one to the National Rifle Association. They're giving out several $1 million to help keep schools safe. It's a total of about $39,000. Now, a lot of that's stuff we need. Some of it's what we want. But I do take pride in our school and how we keep our kids and staff safe. I think we're second to none as far as keeping the things we have in place. So one in particular, I told you about the Halo units. They seem to be effective. The devices we put in our bathrooms to crack down on hopefully vandalism and vaping. I know it kept our guys running. Principals running for the first few weeks, but I think they're tapering off a little bit. So that's one thing we have to do. The money to put more Halo units in all our bathrooms, so to help with that situation. Second thing is state of North Carolina mandates full-scale evacuation for each school once a year. We've not done it in a few years because of COVID. Come find out our conference, and Jack can back me up on this. Very few schools do it, even though it's mandated, but that's something we think it's important. You only are as good as how you prepare and practice. So we had it set up for October, and we've now had to change it to after Christmas break. sometime in the spring. So let y'all know that. We still will be doing a lockdown procedure, but we will not be evacuating them, or sheriff's office or EMS services won't be here. Brian, I think they come just to walk through with us, but that has been postponed to the spring. Okay.
Is there a reason it's been postponed?
Yes.
Well, I guess my question is, you're just gonna do a lockdown, but you're not gonna evacuate the kids?
Yeah, well, we're gonna evacuate them to a safe place on campus, but away from the building. We will go through the whole procedure, except the only thing we're not doing is we won't have law enforcement here to have like a pretend active shooter to help us clear the rooms. I talked to Brian Stevens yesterday. He still wants to come down and just walk through it with us because he's not been through one for us as an EMS director, which we welcome. But yeah, and we practice, several times a year, soft and hard lockdowns just to get used to it. But we will not be using the sheriff's department. So.
Okay. Are they an essential element?
To do a full-scale evacuation, absolutely.
And we're not going to do that?
Well, and for other reasons too. Number one, Ms. Knight's always been good about offering free food to law enforcement officers to come on our campus to be used to the kids, used to how our school's laid out, because it could be confusion, if for the first time or whatever. So she's offered that for 18 years now that we've done that. The other reason is we do full scale. We want them, in case something happens, they need to go through protocols too. You're only as good as you practice. Same way with us. So, go through the halls, see how we do it, see how we open the doors, see how we evacuate, because we use them for that on the evacuation, but a safe evacuation from the building to the secondary point on campus, and then to secure a location, undisclosed location, for them to go to, because we don't want people waiting, and we've seen that with several school shootings. Apparently, I've ticked the sheriff off, and he's refused to help us, at least while he's in office. So that's why we decided to wait until after the election with the new sheriff and the new, whether it's a new staff or what, I don't know. But that's.
But they certainly are an essential element to that. And our other essential.
All law enforcement.
Our other essential element is our EMS.
Yes, because they go through it with it too. We take paramedics through because they have protocols too. If we don't have enough people to go, you go through with a wave of 4 to clear out. Second wave, you go with EMS with them. If somebody's hurt or whatever, they put out tourniquet kits or things like that. So there's all these things that have to play a part in this, and it has to be strategic for us all to come together to do it. So right now we don't have some tradition.
I think since it's been such a long time since we've not done it, I think it's a shame that we're having to postpone it. Because safety of our staff and kids is first and foremost the most important thing, and I'm really disappointed to hear that. But it is what it is.
We're still going to do our part.
We're December.
No, probably after Christmas, after whoever the new sheriff is gets settled in with the staff, and that way they can be aware of our protocols and what to do, and what they need to do. In the event that it happens, heaven helps, I hope it don't. But in case it does, again, you're only as good as you practice. But we're going to make sure our staff does it because we got a lot of new people.
But to be perfectly honest with you, since we've not done it in so long, this sheriff's department has not done it.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. The sheriff's department has not had to respond.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Green, fiscal year 22 audit presentation.
Hello, I have with us today Adam Spirit. He is with Anderson, Smith & White, and he'll be presenting the fiscal audit for fiscal year 2022. You have before you the audit, and there's a letter there. I don't think he'll reference the letter, maybe. There's for you to follow along. If I can have that back at the end, and I can email you a copy, electronic copy if you need one. And anybody else here, if you want to follow along, we've got a couple copies.
Okay. Good morning.
Good
morning. Appreciate your time today. As Lester said, there should be a balance of the financial statements. The letter is just addressed to the board. The board being the entity that actually hires us to conduct the audit of management. The letter just lets you know that the audit went as planned. If we had any difficulties or differences of opinions, or if there were new accounting standards, that kind of information would be in the letter. There were several new accounting standards, and none of them materially affected your financial statements yet, but as they do, when they come around, we'll make sure to get them implemented into the pretty balanced statements here. The 70-plus pages that keeps growing and growing every year. Part of my presentation here today every year is just to come and kind of sort through some of the important information, go over the schedules that I think are key, and also to provide a little bit of commentary on how I see this year versus previous years, or even your financials compared to others, and just also discuss things we see across the state. So if you would first turn to page 1. So we are hired to provide our opinion on your financial statements, your internal controls, and your compliance with state and federal compliance requirements. Page 1 is our first opinion letter. It is an opinion letter over the financial statements, basically stating within that first paragraph that we believe that these financial statements are accurate. They accurately provide information on the net position and fund balances of Graham County Schools as of June 30, 2022. This is what's considered an unmodified opinion letter. Again, there is tons of information. All of it's required. All 80 pages are required. I'd love to be able to present a 10-page summary of this is your financial statements, but that wouldn't meet all the accounting standards. So all that being said, I focus on, and I think management focuses on, fund balance. And that actually starts on page 14, Exhibit 3. 14, Exhibit 3. So these statements comply, again, with all the standards. They, a lot of the information here treats Graham County Schools as if they were a company. We have assets like fixed assets, liabilities for pension, post-employment benefits. All of those are really non-cash transactions added to your statements to make you comparable to districts across the country. But at the end of the day, what you have available to spend and what management has available to appropriate really boils down to the fund balance. So page 14 is a balance sheet of your governmental funds. You have a column for each of those. The state public school fund and the federal grants fund do not carry fund balance. Those funds are use it or lose it. You spend it and then ask for the money to send out the door, so you never are carrying fund balance in those two funds. And so your fund balance is really made up of your two main local funds, the general and the other special revenue fund. And you see at the first column, at the bottom of that first column, your total general fund balance is only $17,000. That's about $3,000 more than last year. That's essentially even. The key this year, or the important thing to note this year, is that in order to stay right at this zero number or $17,000 number, you had to transfer $440,000 of funds from your other local fund, the other special revenue fund, just to break even. So the previous year you had to do a transfer similar to that. It wasn't as much, but this year was $440,000. At this point in 2022, the local funds from the county, from timber receipts, just isn't enough to cover the budget in that local fund. So you've been utilizing the fund balance created in the other special revenue fund. 10, 15 years ago, those two funds were combined. They are your local sources. We've just split it out now because one of them is operating funds from the county, the other one is state and federal grants and other revenues. So really we look at them as combined. So while you're transferring funds, you really still are utilizing local funds. So when you look at your other special revenue fund, you still have $923,000 of fund balance available in local funds in another special revenue fund. The problem with that is that about $670,000 is restricted for Medicaid. One of the bigger sources of revenue in that fund is Medicaid revenue that has to be reinvested and spent on EC kids. So what we're really looking at is available fund balance to spend on general operating expenditures. The $149,000 below the $670,000, and the $100,000 above that. That $100,000 is restricted because it's a receivable. State law just says you can't appropriate receivables. Even though they're an asset to you, you have to wait till the cash is in the door before you put it on your budget. You actually have to wait till the next year end, or after year end, to appropriate it. So while $100,000 is available as fund balance to spend, it's just not available to appropriate. So those two numbers, $250,000, really represents what you could transfer over to local to spend, and it is not quite $440,000. So just to maintain the same level of service you did in 2022, 2023, you're already $200,000 short. So the good thing you have going for you is apparently an understanding with the county to increase funding, their ability to work with you and look at your financials and prevent what could be a very ugly presentation next year if you do the same thing you did before. So I believe the increase for 2023 is about $263,000 of local funds.
Yes. Yes.
So that will help cover that shortfall. You also have a potential increase in impact aid funds coming. One of your, again, key sources is actually a federal source, but it acts like a local source. It's pretty much wide open to spend on an array of things. A little bit is restricted for EC kids, but it really is made to benefit the significant portion of your students who are federally connected. So the impact aid this year was about $650,000.
Approximately.
Yes, with a projected increase to go up to about $800,000. So those two funding sources, local and impact aid increasing, I think will help cover the gap for the if you were, again, to provide the same level of services in 2023, and even just providing those same level of services with inflation, increases in benefits, the same person working, every dollar that is paid to them, now almost 30 cents on the dollar is sent up to the retirement system. So the cost of people keep going up, the cost of goods keep going up. So, but those two funding sources, I think, really will help cover that shortfall of the $440,000 you used this year and the $250,000 that you really have available still in that other special revenue fund.
Did you say the federal impact aid was going up this year to $800,000?
Yes, but potentially an estimate. It was.
Estimate. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was,
we had an increase in the number of students that we found that were federally connected. It was between 40 and 50 students. I'm working hard with Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians and also the folks that work here on our site, collaborating with them to find even more students that qualify who are federally connected. So that increases our impact aid revenue. So I'm estimating that should grow close to $800,000. Yeah.
It was 620 for this year.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. What did you say about the $250,000?
The $250,000 is fund balance in the other special revenue fund that would be available to spend to cover the fact that you had to use $440,000 of fund balance this year from other special revenue to fund local. The other variable here is the federal ESSER funds. It's a positive and it's a potential future negative. You have received over $2 million of COVID funds this year. A lot of those are being spent on one-time expenditures, but there are significant dollars being spent on learning loss that potentially becomes a reoccurring expenditure after those funds expire in 2023 2023 and 2024. So managing a very narrow fund balance while determining what level of services you can keep providing from those federal funds after they expire, it is going to be a challenge to the board and to management in the next, maybe not 2023, but in 2024 and beyond. One of the other good things about those federal funds is you're allowed to collect indirect cost on them. Those federal funds come in, they're managed by management, they provide salaries and benefits, they cost time and effort, and so you're allowed to charge the federal government an overhead rate, essentially. This year, DPI increased that overhead rate to make sure that all those COVID dollars got spent, because there's a lot of districts out there that receive so much federal money that's so restricted in a narrow window, they had difficulty determining how to spend it. They charge a higher overhead rate. They're able to collect indirect costs, which can be used on anything, and it adds to fund balance. This year, it helps your Fund 8 maintain basically a break even though you transferred the $440,000 over. Those federal indirect cost funds received are also, in theory, thought to be a nest egg to help provide the services after the federal funds expire. If there's learning loss applications that you want to continue past the deadline of when those funds expire, the fund balance you're able to generate from that indirect cost will help cover those. That's what a lot of districts are using for future plans of summer schools and nurses, or whatever reoccurring expenditures come out of those ESSER funds. That indirect cost will help cover. But you're already using some of that indirect cost just to break even. So again, another future challenge for managing all those funding sources and all of the cost increases, salary increases, and so on. And again, hearing the commitment of the county to increase their funding, and I think even increase into future years, I think is going to go a long way towards helping, again, manage that whole situation. You also have $97,000 of fund balance in capital outlay. You're in the middle of, or almost done with a 6th grade expansion, so there's a lot of funds flowing through there this year, last year and this year. Lottery funds used to fund that expansion. You also received a little bit of athletic money from the state this year, so there's $97,000 of fund balance in capital outlay. And then your schools have about $600,000 of cash on hand from sporting events, fundraisers, and stuff like that. So your total fund balance government-wide for governmental funds, $1,650,000.
It's my understanding this ESSER money, it will go away after next year.
It goes away in waves. Is it September?
Next year.
Well, it goes away. Some of it went away this past June. ESSER 1 will go away in June of 2023, and ESSER 2 will go away in 2024.
2024, that's what I'm looking for. ESSER,
We got money in 3 phases essentially, so each phase goes out at a different time.
But by January 1, 2025, it's all gone. Yeah. Unless there's...
And we have many salaries attached to
I know we do.
Yeah. That was the balance sheet. I know we talked a lot of income statements while looking at the balance sheet, but on page 16 is the income statement for each of those funds, showing you that transfer in. When you look at the very bottom, the general fund towards the bottom has a positive $440,000, and then the other special revenue on that same line has a negative $440,000, representing that transfer. That transfer helped you to add $3,000 to general and add $17,000 to other special revenue fund. Again, essentially a break even. But that other special revenue fund was heavily funded with indirect cost that is not going to be a reoccurring revenue source, because once the ESSER funds expire, you can't collect indirect cost on it. The other thing to note is, and we'll look at, we actually can go ahead and I'll do that next. If there's any questions on these governmental funds, you have one business type fund, the Child Nutrition Fund. Again, I'll do that next. But if you have any questions on local fund balance, state public school fund, capital outlay, I'd be happy to answer those now. You can see the revenue sources at the top. 1.4 million from general, 11.9 million from the state, clearly your largest funding source. The 3.4 million of federal funds, the federal revenue, 2.1 of that is COVID ESSER funds. So that gives you an indication of just how much of that federal money is tied to COVID. And then other special revenue, 1.9 million. The indirect cost is a part of that other number, the 643,000. Doesn't make up all of it, but it makes up a significant portion of that. And then $3 million through capital outlay, again, thanks to that lottery funded 6th grade expansion. So you have one business type fund. Page 22 is the balance sheet for that fund, the school food service fund. And just to add one more variable to the equation here, in the past, your child nutrition fund has lost money or broken even. This year was a good year across the state for nearly all child nutrition funds because, for the most part, kids were in school for the full year. Everybody was eating for free. The reimbursement rate was high. And so as long as you could get meals in front of kids, you were making money. You were actually able to add about $49,000 of cash to your bank account in child nutrition, and that's that top number. The $49,000 created $56,000 of cash on hand. So again, when you look at just in 1 year, tripling your cash, thanks to, again, the high reimbursement rates, kids eating for free, that's not going to be reoccurring. In the past, you've actually had to fund child nutrition locally. It's a federal requirement. Those are federal dollars. Kids cannot go without food. So once the money is gone, local has to send money over into child nutrition to keep those kids fed. So any dollars you were able to make this year, just with increases of salaries, supply chain, inflation costs, I think child nutrition, again, across the state is going to struggle to make money. But then in a small district where there's just not the economy of scale that some districts have with cafeterias, it's going to be tough to maintain profitability. And I don't think it'll happen. It's just a matter of how much is needed from local to fund the child nutrition. And when you're talking about pre-pandemic salaries of $8, $9 an hour, now turning into $13, $14, $15 an hour, it's just going to be difficult to make a profit. So those are your, again, fund statements. After that, also in here we have some budget versus actual statements. There were no budget violations. We have pages and pages of footnotes that describe all of your accounting details as far as roll forwards of receivables, fixed assets, 5-6 pages about this pension plan and post-employment benefit plans that are really state liabilities, but we have to disclose your tiny percentage of that giant state liability within these statements. And then after that is a compliance section that starts on page 61. So on the front end, I told you we're hired to provide an opinion on basically 4 different things. The first letter was on the financial statements. Page 61 starts the other 3 opinion letters. Page 61 starts the letter on internal controls. It basically states that we noted no deficiencies in internal controls. We gauge deficiencies in whether they're deficiencies, significant deficiencies, or material weaknesses. Being the highest grade, we noted none of those. We also give our opinion over compliance. You have compliance over state requirements and federal requirements. Page 63 begins the first of two letters, both basically stating the same thing, one being over state, one being over federal, that we noted no instances of question costs, no deficiencies related to compliance, and no findings. Again, these are all three considered unmodified opinions, and for every program that we audited as major, we noted no exceptions to the adherence to the requirements of each of those funds. We are required to audit at least 20% of your federal dollars every year, and every major program over $750,000 on federal and $500,000 on state have to be audited for compliance once every 3 years, with the state public school fund, which is about $11 million of state funds, being audited every year. This year, we audited both of your compliance programs. There was the ESSER fund, which is the big chunk, but then you also received some bonuses through the state. Bonuses paid at the end of the year. That was a federal program related to COVID-19, and so those funds were also audited for compliance. Any dollars coming through the COVID-19 American Recovery Plan or the ESSER, all those funds are considered high risk and have to be audited every year for compliance. So we'll look at those ESSER funds, ESSER 2, every year. And then again, the State Public School Fund was your one major state program that we audited. So all in all, a clean, unmodified, good report as far as maintaining a level of fund balance, break even, but certainly some challenges ahead. And we have good news in increased funding on one side, bad news on decreases of indirect costs. So again, a challenge going forward to manage all that and again, still provide the level of services that you want. And that's all I've got. Again, happy to answer any questions. I appreciate working here, coming out every year. Lester and his staff do a great job preparing for us. Part of the audit is also looking at information throughout the year to make sure that it doesn't appear you're getting incorrect information, that we come in and clean it all up right at the end. And that's certainly not the case. So I've got great confidence that this information, some of this was not new to you. These were things discussions you had over the last year or two. And so again, that all comes from having the staff in place, the controls in place, procedures in place to just keep an accurate record of all of those funds as they materialize. So again, thank you for your time. And again, any questions, I'm happy to answer.
School finance is just the best.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Adam, for your group, and y'all are easy to work with, and we appreciate you. And then Mr. Green and his department do an excellent job for us. And money is tight, but we try to make sure that we squeeze everything we can out of what we have to make sure students have what they need.
Thank you.
Ms. Walsh, can you give us a construction update?
It is so nice to see the middle school project coming to fruition, and they were able to get power last week, so we have power. They have all flooring down. They're touching up paint. They poured concrete this last week. They are getting ready to set the light poles in front of the school, and they told us that they should be ready for a punch list at the end of the month. So it's really taking shape, and we're really excited. So
be in?
Well, we can probably do a punch list at the end of the month, and then if there's anything that needs to be redone, changed, or whatever, but the holdup will probably be furniture, so.
And it's ordered, it's just.
And it's ordered, and then the access points for Wi-Fi, they're not supposed to be shipped till December, but I believe they've got some old ones that they can use. So we were a little bit worried about that. We were thinking that might hold us up. But
I haven't talked to anybody about the fiber yet, but they're supposed to run a fiber between the old office to the new switch. So I'm still waiting on that.
So they've put in, we had some build-ins that were in the contract, so they put in the science lab tables and the build-ins in the prep area for the science classrooms. And they still have some build-ins to put in the computer lab, the benches in the hall, but they were waiting till the paint was touched up and they've redone some of the paint. So it's looking like a building now. Now that they've got doors up and the ceiling in and the floors down, you know, it looks a whole lot different than it did. So it's very nice facility.
Thank you, Ms. Wall.
You're welcome.
Personnel, Ms. Knight.
Yes, during closed session, I'll bring names to you for a varsity track coach, several substitutes, like child nutrition, instructional substitutes, custodial substitutes, cafeteria. I just said that in a child nutrition, volunteers, and 21st century workforce. So a slate of people for the beginning of the new school year.
Board meeting times, survey results, Ms. Knight.
Yeah, so in the last meeting, I was asked to put out a survey regarding the time that the board would meet, whether it be during the day or in the evening. That was put out. It was put out on social media. It was put out on our school websites, and it all came back to a Google document in your packet, and it's in the media packet, and then there's extras on the table with Ms. Beasley if the audience would like to see those as well. I will go over the survey results. We had 165 responses. That's roughly 10%, representative of about 10% of the families or the students in the school system. Names were optional on this. So you can see on page 3 there a breakdown of where the people that responded, how they were connected to the school. Page 4, the role, whether they were a staff member, parent, or community member. And it's kind of split. The next question asks, have you ever attended a school board meeting? About 59% no. So the next question asks, it talks about the board meetings. Right now we're at 10 o'clock in the morning. The meeting is streamed on Grand Star Live Facebook page. If you wanted to visit the board meeting, would you be able to attend during the meeting time? Statistically, yes. This is for if you could attend like right now. Yes was 23.6%. Maybe was 11.5%. I prefer to watch the live streaming of the meeting was 16.4%, and then 48.5% said no, they could not. So about half and half, I guess, when you put it all together. The next question was, would you be more likely to attend the meeting if the meeting was held in the evening? Those responses were yes to 46.7% of the respondents said they would be more likely to attend in the evening. 28.5% said no, and 24.8% said it would make a difference. So a little less than half said that they would attend if the meeting was held in the early evening. So about 50-50, is a little bit less there. There was optional responses. I've included all of the responses there. If anybody want to say anything, have any comments or concerns, all of those are listed for you if you want to take a few moments to look over those.
Ms. Knight, I know we did it out on social media and we did it
on the website. It all links back to
Facebook.
Well, it went out on Facebook, but on the website it all goes back to Google Doc.
On the if they went to
the school
website.
Schools. Yes.
Okay, but we didn't do an all-call that we were putting out a survey, did we?
I can't remember if we did that or not. I honestly don't know.
I don't know.
I don't remember. I would have to tell you yes or no. I don't know. I don't remember.
Because I think some parents didn't know about it, so.
Well, yeah, when you put it out on the school website and social media, everything else, we get a lot of response to. And you got some good information, I feel like, in your responses.
The only thing I think we have a problem with live streaming is people cannot hear. And I try to listen to the commissioners' meetings. You can't hear those either. It's really tough. I don't even know if they have microphones. But you can't even hear theirs either. I think the room is so large. And I know people cannot hear us either.
We've looked into the microphones.
Yes,
it was very expensive, but
Right,
if that's
at
a
least
decision the board,
$2,000-$3,000 to.
Yeah.
if that's what the board wants to do, we're open.
But I'm just saying, it's even with microphones, it's hard for if they don't speak into the microphones, because I've tried to listen to the commissioners' meetings also. I can't hear them.
I think the difference in our size of the room makes a difference.
It makes a difference.
What's he grinning about?
He's got a field trip when he's approved.
Oh, man.
I can read these later on, so.
Okay.
I just.
Okay, F, discussion of board meeting dates, Ms. Knight.
So, as you were told at the last board meeting, as preliminary information came out, Robbinsville Elementary School, Robbinsville Middle School are in school improvement based on those school performance grades. Because we had more than 50% of our schools, which is, I've kind of said you win big, lose big. I mean, so 2 out of 3 of our schools were in school improvement. That threw us into what they call district improvement with the state performance system. So there are certain targets that we must meet. And in your packet, you have just some information about those targets. An explanation of what low performing is, and then some timelines. Because we have to meet these timelines, we have to be more aligned to for the next couple of meetings, we have to meet the timelines of the State Board of Education in order to have everything be in compliance with our 30 days and 60-day timelines. So the state board will make this absolutely official. We talked to you last time that this was preliminary, and they give a period for if there's any change in data or that for the school systems, and then it will be official as of October 6th. From that point, we have 30 days to create both at the school level and at the district level, school improvement plans and district improvement plans. And then at the end of that 30 days, get them to the board for you to review and for the public to review. So there's a 30-day timeline between October 6th and the time that we have to do that, submit those to you. So you'll see all school improvement plans, even the one at the high school, and the district improvement plan at the November board meeting. And then after that, there's 30 days per the state statute that they have to sit for review, and then you make a determination whether or not you're going to approve them or not by the end of that 30 days. So it all has to fall, the trigger date is October 6th. So also in your board packet, there's a calendar that has just 3 months on it. So if you look at October 6th being the target date, then I've kind of counted up where the 30 days fall. And we have to be on or before those 30 days to be in compliance. So I would recommend that, well, let me say this. I guess you have a choice as a board. You can be out of compliance with these state statutes, and I guess that's the choice you make if you don't want to change your board. And we have to write an explanation of why we're not going to be in compliance with these 30 days. Or we can change the days to be in compliance. So I guess I want you to know that you do have choice. Anyway, so my recommendation would be that our next board meeting be held Thursday, the 3rd of November, and that puts us, a couple of days, the 30 days falls on that Saturday. And then the next will be held December 1st, and that puts us within the guidelines for everything has to be turned into the state by December 6th. And December 9th is like the very last day. We have to submit, the plans will come to you in November, you can review them, the public can review them, they will come back, then as we come together in December, you will approve them as they are or with the modifications. And then we have a short turnaround on days that we actually have to submit them online to the state per this state statute. So.
Well, based on the survey, are we going to try to have a meeting in the evening and in the fall and one in the spring, a special meeting? We have to make it a special meeting since it's not a state statute.
Yeah, these will both have to be special meetings.
Just to see what kind of response we're going to get.
That certainly.
I mean, it makes us a lot more.
The date is what is of most critical to me. Is the date. The time will be at the pleasure of the board.
Okay, first of all, we need to vote on the dates, right?
That would be correct.
Okay. Excuse me?
Are those dates flexible? If we've got a conflict on one of those dates.
Well, you could, the best, we could move it to the Wednesday. You've got to stay ahead of, you've got 30 days once you have a meeting for the next. So if you move the November one would be the only one that is a little flexible. So,
we move it to Wednesday,
I have
that's
a
church
conflict
night.
on that Thursday, but.
Do what now?
I'm sorry, I have a conflict on that. Yeah, that is Thursday, on the 3rd.
The 3rd, you have a
I can do the
conflict.
2nd if the board pleases. And that works with the superintendent.
It's fine with me.
Fine with me.
Is that just a minute schedule?
open to whatever goes.
That's okay with me.
Does that work for you, ladies?
Yes, it will work, and then that would that still will put us within,
Within the first.
Yeah, so if we could, the second would still work within the window that we need.
Okay.
The second would work.
It's not that it matters to me at all, and I may just be confused, but if the first is your regularly scheduled board meeting anyway, does that work within the window or no?
Well, not really.
No.
Pushing these.
You have to have a total of
Yeah, it
November.
pushes it the December one out. We gotta have a board meeting once each month.
Okay.
So we have to, it has to fall. Does that make sense?
I understand.
So we're voting on the 2nd of November and the 1st of December, is that correct?
That would be my understanding.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the special meetings in November on Wednesday, November 2nd, and in December on Thursday, December 1st? Do I have a motion to approve those new dates? Do I have a second? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
Okay, do we have a time? If we're gonna try an evening meeting in the fall and an evening meeting in the spring.
That's up to the board.
Can our Thursday meeting be in the evening on the 1st? Based on the survey, and just to say that we have made ourselves proactive and made ourselves available to folks if they want to come to the meeting in the evening.
What's your all's?
And it'll have to be a special meeting, of course it's a special meeting anyway.
Yeah. What time would you propose?
You're talking November 2nd, right?
No, December 1st on Thursday.
December 1st. I'd probably say 5:30 or 6. And like I say, at least we put it out there and we said, well, you didn't, if anybody argues you don't have evening meetings, yes, we did. We tried 2 special meetings and that didn't work, so.
I'm okay with 6 o'clock that night, see what kind of attendance we have.
All right. 6 o'clock, is that okay with you, Mr. Carringer? All right, that's 6 p.m. on December 1st.
Now, both of these are going to still call special meetings.
They'll have
Yes,
to
they
be,
have
because
to be.
they vary from your set time and date.
The November meeting will be.
At 10
At the same
a.m.
time.
Yeah, will be, the November 2nd will be at 10 a.m. Okay, do we need to vote on that? Or is that
We've already voted.
You've already voted on the time, or I think I
on
would
the
go.
dates?
Let's go ahead and vote on the time, because Attorney Davis is not here, so I'd rather
Yeah,
do
okay,
more
let's
than
do it.
less.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the special call meeting on November the 2nd at 10 a.m. and the time for the December 1st on Thursday at 6 p.m.? Do I have a motion to approve those 2 times?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right.
Mr. Chairman, at the understanding that this is out of order and I will take full responsibility, because I think Mr. Matheson had emailed me this and I failed to put it on the board agenda. I would like to make a emergency addition to the agenda that would be G regarding field trips.
Okay, G, field trips.
We've got a field trip on October 31st to Young Harris College Planetarium. There'll be 25 students attending that are part of the Comas Club, which is the Club of Math and Science, and Ben Davis and Adam Brooks will be the chaperones for that trip.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the field trip to Young Harris Planetarium on October 31st? Mr. Davis will be the one of the chaperones. Any more chaperones? Adam Brooks will be another chaperone. Do I have a motion to approve this field trip for the high school? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. I guess we're going into closed session. Closed session. Okay, Ms. Knight, personnel.
Yes, I recommend that you employ Caitlin Carringer Adams as the varsity track coach.
Do I have a motion to employ Caitlin Carringer Adams as the varsity track coach?
Moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
I recommend that you employ in the role of child nutrition substitutes Rachel Cook and Jackie Keith.
Do I have a motion to employ in the child nutrition substitute Rachel Cook and Jackie Keith?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
I recommend the following people as instructional substitutes, and Susie, I can get you a list of these because there's about 16. I will read the names, but I'll give you a list. Wilma Lovelace, Emily Ware, Rebecca Hooper, Shelby Millsaps, Natasha Chris, Joan Millsaps, Alyssa Cable, Angel McLucas, J.C. Stapleton, Jennifer Henry, Ashley Crisp, Tabitha Hall, Caroline Vasquez, Alexis Evans, Shanna Phillips, and Jamie Phillips.
Do I have a motion to approve the list as presented by Ms. Knight for instructional substitutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
I recommend that you approve the following volunteers: Emily Chris, Jasmine Boyle, Freedom Shepherd, Philip Boyle, Teresa Boyle, and Tanya Howell.
Do I have a motion to employ as volunteers Emily Chris, Jasmine Boyle, Freedom Shepherd, Philip Boyle, Teresa Boyle, and Tanya Howell?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
I recommend that you employ Laura Beasley to work with the 21st Century After School Program.
Do I have a motion to employ Laura Beasley in the 21st Century Workers?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
I recommend that you employ our entire staff of child nutrition workers to work in the in the 21st Century After School Program. They will just take turns working different days. So it's the slate of our entire cafeteria workers. There's about 16 of them, but it's our present workers in child nutrition.
Do I have a motion to approve cafeteria workers to work with the 21st Century Program?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
I recommend that you employ as a custodial substitute Lakota Cable and Rachel Cook.
Do I have a motion to approve custodial substitute Lakota Cable and Rachel Cook?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Announcements, Ms. Knight.
So the next scheduled Board of Education meeting will be a special called meeting on Wednesday, November 2nd at 10 a.m. And I might also add that the December board meeting will be a special called meeting on Thursday, December 1st at 6 p.m.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?